Okay. Now, positioned up here. Mute that one so I don't hear the computer. Okay. Okay, let's see if anybody joins up here. I'm going to be building a moving Titanic Lego set. It's not actual Lego, it's off-brand. They don't make this set in real Lego. But this piece, you can spin the handle and the ship actually moves. So, we're going to be building this today. So people actually join up. All of this for this part. Got 2 people in here already. Let's see. Three people. Set those down there while next part here. So 5 of these. There we go. And then I need 2 of these pieces. Get up a really long one. Oh, 1 of those? Or 4 of those, I was going to say. These instructions are not very clear with this one. Hello, ship's history. Ship history. This one. And then 2 of those. So now what we're going to do is we're starting. So, how's everything been out there on your end? Okay, so stories about the Titanic or other ships? Anything fascinating that you didn't know that you've just learned? Jack Thayer, yeah, he's definitely got an interesting story. I know the description of the sinking that he told to Carpathia passenger LP Skidmore, that Skidmore drew down a 6-piece illustrated version. You know, it's always been one of my favorites. And Jack Thayer, yeah, that's right. That was his name. I believe his real name was John, but like JFK, he went by Jack. It's just a kind of a nickname shorthand for put the wrong piece on here a minute. But, yeah, LP Skidmore of the Carpathia drew Jack's descriptions of the sinking. It shows, the ship going down and it starts to break, but then in Jack's description and Thayer's description, there's actually the V split, and he mentions that the bow actually resurfaced. And I don't think the bow itself like fully came up out of the water. I know a lot of people assume that what he saw was likely the grand staircase breaking free, coming crashing through the dome as it floated out, because of what Cameron discovered during his filming of the wreck, or his filming of the movie. When he was flooding the grand staircase with actual water, it ended up breaking free and floating up, because it was solid oak. I mean, wood floats on water, obviously. So, yeah, it really, when the staircase broke free and floated, it actually scared a lot of the crew and stuff. And if you watch the movie, and you know right where to look, right when they kind of pan in on J.J. Astor's face there as he's clinging to the pole, which is not where he actually died. Right about not even less than a second before they cut, you can actually see the stairs beginning to break free. Yeah, which piece is that one again? Oh boy, jumpers and the 1-bys. Okay. As you can see, the winner being executed in this day. Yeah, I could only imagine what it would have been like on the real ship back then when that happened, because ships like the Lusitania, they had a good not quite as big or as elaborate, but they had a grand staircase as well. And it had a big dome over the top of it. But their dome set down inside the ship a little ways and stuff. And it wasn't right up on top of the ship like that. So when Lusitania sank, sure, water probably crashed through it and all, but I don't think it would have been anything like what the Titanic went through. Honestly. We had up until Chief Engineer Joseph Bell, who was the engineer and electrician on board, I believe, managed to, because they tried to keep the power going as long as possible so that officers out on deck could see to be able to load the lifeboats, and they could keep the pumps running in order to maintain as much of a level keel as possible. Because ships, in general, when they sink, they tend to begin to roll. And they will usually end up capsizing. If you look at pretty much any ship that sinks, 90% of them will capsize if they're just allowed to sink on their own without any aid. The Britannic rolled onto its side, and of course with the Britannic, as the propeller came out of the water, one of the lifeboats was sucked in and 30 people were chopped up, unfortunately. They died. And the fun thing, not really fun, bad choice of words there, but one of the interesting things is Violet Jessup, who was on the Titanic and survived, was actually on the Britannic and survived. And not only did she survive the Britannic, but she was actually in that lifeboat that got pulled into the still churning propellers. And she saw the propellers coming and she jumped overboard out into the water. And when she came up, she hit her head on one of the lifeboats. I'm not sure if it's the same one or a different one, but one of the lifeboats, and was knocked unconscious, and she almost drowned. And she was saved by somebody else that was in another lifeboat. Have you read On a Sea of Glass? I've not read it yet, but I do have a copy of it. I do own a copy of that book. I've got a whole library of Titanic books, and hopefully when the attraction starts working, does everything, that I can fill the actual library on the Titanic with books about the Titanic. One fun thing I have that I would love to show off in a video once I get everything around here straightened up, where I can do better, wider video, bigger videos and everything, is I have an original White Star Cunard steamer trunk from probably the early 30s, late 20s, early 30s. Now, mind you, White Star and Cunard merged into White Star Cunard for a very short period of time and everything. So there's a very narrow window of when this trunk could even have been. But I do have a White Star Cunard original steamer trunk. And I've got several additional luggage tags for steamer trunks, like that. My hope has always been with the trunk to store like all my Titanic books and stuff down inside of it, but then create a false top that is decorated with period accurate clothing and a pocket watch, whatever, so it looks like somebody's ready to travel. Let's see, what does your company do exactly? Is it just you or a team? Titanic Cruise LLC. That's a good one. I'm always happy to talk about, share what my company, what Titanic Cruise does exactly. So this August, next month, I believe it is, or is it September? I'd have to look at my paperwork again. Will be our 10-year anniversary of a operating LLC within the state of Missouri. And for that 10 years, it's pretty much just been me. I've pretty much been the only employee. But if I've gone through several different things. When I first started, I was partnered with a UK company to try to salvage the real Titanic, and there was a whole difference of opinion between me and them, and I ended up leaving and doing things my own way for a while, and I got fairly far in that. I had equipment designed, other equipment picked out, lined up, had a syntactic foam company had sent me a sample of their product in order for testing to see how buoyant it would be with, using it at the wreck site. But I've moved past all that, and I'm up to doing a replica attraction now, and I'm actually got tickets that are getting ready to go up for sale as soon as I can figure out a safe, secure online way to do it. The tickets are first come. There are Titanic wristbands, pictures, stickers, a whole myriad of things that will be sold with the tickets as well. But those extras are all first come, first served. Not all tickets will have them. The parlor suite is the most expensive room still, unfortunately. But if somebody does happen to be able to afford to buy a full pack of parlor tickets for the parlor suite, which there's 4 tickets to a suite, they will get a brand new, still sealed in the pack, 350 scale Centennial Edition Academy Titanic model kit. But I'm still working on all that. Instead of feeling hopeless and down, let's talk about a better sub to visit the Titanic. Is there a way I could... That would be nice to be able to... I said, Britannic-wise, Britannic is so heavily protected by the Greeks that it's even Simon Mills himself can't. I've talked with Simon a few times via email, and yeah, even he has a very difficult time doing anything with that wreck. They're... Does it pay, or is there any way I could join? What exactly are you just, Titanic truths in general, or the attraction, or... Titanic truths in general don't really hire. My business model principle from the day I founded this little company has always been not to profit directly from the tragedy. That has always been my philosophy, and I've done that. I have not benefited in full 10 years of operation. I have never once benefited directly from the real Titanic and the wreck of the Titanic or any of that. Now the replica, on the other hand, there will be jobs available with the replica. I'm going to be hiring thousands of employees in all kinds of fields in order to make that replica, work. But hiring employees at that part is still a ways off right now. And so I don't know exactly where, how that part's all going to work, because I probably won't be hiring specifically myself. Like you wouldn't have an interview with me directly. I would probably, of course, have managers and assistant managers and, a management team under me that would do a lot of the actual hiring and everything. Are you talking stem to stern or half of it, just like Branson? No, full scale. Mostly full scale. The full ship, bow to stern, 882 feet 9 inch, full width 92 foot 6 inch, but it's only going to be from G deck up. It's only going, that's all it's going to be, is from G deck up. And so the G deck is standard class, standard accommodation, third class passengers. Rooms come in single, double, 4-bed, and 6-bed family rooms. And I love what you're, and I would like to join the company. Like I said, employees are going to be a long ways off right now. I'm only just now at selling tickets to begin the initial development and funding. Like I said, you're going to have in the attraction, G, F, and E are standard accommodation, third, second, first class. Then on D, C, and B deck, you will have a small isolated areas for a first, second, and third class authentic experience, and that is where all of the rooms are exactly as they were in 1912. No new upgrades, none of that. And there are going to be some legal waivers that will have to be signed for that to make sure you're, mentally and physically capable of handling that, because it'll be a strain, because take cell phones, my laptop here, all of this, none of that will be allowed. If you have an authentic experience room, when you check in, you have to go to the purser's office down on C deck and check all of your electronics. There are also no children allowed in, just for safety reasons, really. But but I said I will be hiring hotel there's a hotel side to it, there's a restaurant side to it. You've got the museum tour area, you've got the Turkish baths and other spas. There's a movie theater, there's all kinds of gaming rooms. I mean, there is just a wide range of activities that will each one require their own special qualified employees to run and maintain. I've been, designing this for 5-6 years now, and the project has been fully fan driven the entire time. That was another, kind of thing that I did that you don't see too often, is most places like Pigeon Forge and Branson, when they create their attractions, they go behind closed doors with their company and advisors and a board, and to create what they want to create and what they think fans will like. And I didn't want to do that. Fans are going to be the one to visit. Fans should be able to say what they want to see. So I let the fans tell me what it was they wanted to see with this attraction, and I took their advice and designed the whole thing. And it went through several evolutions until we got to this, design that we're on now. And I wasn't able to incorporate everything that they wanted, but I was able to get a lot of it. They wanted, of course, the engines and the boilers, and I can't really do that. There's no need for engines and boilers, so that's just a non sequitur that you don't really need to worry about. What about the Jack and Rose nonsense? Jack and Rose stuff for the museum, for the attraction, it's not going to be ditched, but it's not also going to be embraced and be present fully throughout the entire attraction. Like there's not going to, there might be a section like in the museum part where, like there's a section on the film history of Titanic, being how popular that movie was, how big that movie was. Then there might be a mention of Jack and Rose in that. But for the most part, no, there's not going to be too much on that. Fans will be able to, on good, clear weather days where a member of crew can be out on deck for safety reasons, they will be able to go all the way up to the prow of the ship and recreate the "I'm the king of the world" or "I'm flying" scenes if they want to. But that's most places, ever since the movie, most places, and like riverboats and little river cruises and small cruise lines, they had a huge influx of passengers trying to recreate those scenes, and they had to put a stop to it because it was dangerous being out like that. But while it would still be dangerous, because even up at the prow as you are, you're still 4 or 5 stories above the ground with this attraction. So yeah, it's still dangerous, which is one reason why there will be an employee out there at all times during good weather days when it's available to be done. And thank God, I'm sorry. Oh, I know the Jack and Rose stuff really drives me up the wall sometimes too. Uh, I know there's one guy there on TikTok that just absolutely worships Jack and Rose and Cameron's Titanic, and he's got like 1,400 copies of the movie on VHS, DVD in all forms. I'm sure you've probably seen him if you're on TikTok and everything, you know, when you do TikTok. But his videos are just this is but yeah, you follow him? I don't follow him, but I've seen him. I've seen him many times. Yeah, he's definitely a character. Hey. What other attractions do I want to make after the Titanic? I don't know. I've actually been asked that a few times. If successful, you know, the concept could be adapted. You could do the Olympic, the Britannic, the Lusitania, Mauritania, the Aquitania. You could bring back the Andrea Doria that way. There you go. Sometimes you just gotta use your teeth. I'm old school that way. Yeah, I like the Titanic film, but I only like seeing... Yeah, the Titanic, of course, always gets the love, too, but... And I do... You know, she's the one I've studied the most. But I do like some of the other ships that are out there. I do... You know, I like the Lusitania. Greg Bemis, who used to actually own the wreck before he passed away. I used to communicate with him a lot during via emails. He lived in Ireland. He was up in his 90s. He had developed cancer. All of that. And yeah, he always wanted to raise the Lusitania, but Ireland wouldn't let him and everything. And then when he developed cancer and he passed away, Greg ended up leaving it to the Preserve the Lusitania Foundation, I think is what it's called. Oh, really? You're going to be like that? I've communicated with them a few times as well since his passing. And yeah, he got something in my eye here. And yeah, they're still trying to figure out ways to salvage parts of the Lusitania, but one, she has just collapsed so much that there's pretty much nothing left. And two, Ireland still won't let them touch her. You know, because she's a war grave. They took some, I believe, they took some. I don't know if they're like the 3D scans they just did of the Titanic, but I know they did in the last few years take some scans of the Lusitania wreck, some updated imagery and scans and everything. So I don't know if all that's going to be made public in a VR mode, like the Titanic, or what. But if it is, I would love to feature it in my VR room area of the attraction, because I already want to have Titanic Honor and Glory game, the new VR scans that they did of the wreck site, and all of that stuff as well. These off-brands, man, they bend and warp way too easy. Let's see. I wanted to make a mummy sunken ship crossover French. Yeah, I think you discussed that one that movie last week. I did. It sounded interesting. They got so many movies and stuff. You know, I could see it being done. But yeah, everybody's so protective and everything. I don't know how well you can see that warp in that. That's how bent it is. That's just from normal building. That's off-brand for you. Okay, that's my... Okay. One of these... One of those. That. Am I missing something here? Oh, yeah, I did miss something. Oops. Okay. Put that down there for a minute. Sit that there. This goes here. I think the Titanic wreck is way safer wreck. Most people like to think that because of where it lies, but it's, you know, it's also still 400 feet deep. While it is more accessible at that depth, it's still very dangerous for free divers, and only some of the most experienced divers in the world can actually get down there to that, and you know, to that depth, like John Chatterton, who I've talked to before and everything. But yeah, even at just 400 feet, the pressure is still very strong on the body. And of course, nothing like the Titanic wreck site, but it can still cause a lot of problems if you don't know what you're doing. I think all shipwrecks are heavily protected, regardless of what they are, where they're at, or any of that kind of stuff. You know, the Titanic lies in international waters, and after her discovery in 85, there was an international treaty, if you will, that was actually signed by the US, Canada, France, England, UK, and one or two others, I think, that was meant to preserve the wreck as it was. Do I think Ocean Gate... Oh yeah, Ocean Gate's done. I've heard their website is still up and offering rides, but I'm sure, you know, they didn't rush to take that down because they got so much else going on. But I know they have announced that they're closing indefinitely. You know, so many people spoke out against them when they started, myself included. And as I've said before, I didn't know anything about the engineering of the sub. I didn't know what he had done. If I had known that, I probably would have brought that stuff up too, because obviously that was not what you do. But yeah, like I said, they've already announced that they're closing their doors indefinitely. So, yeah, I really don't look for Ocean Gate to ever operate again. I look for a bunch of lawsuits to actually get filed, and go out against them for everything. Because even though they had legal waivers that, you know, people had to sign, they weren't. Some lawyers have already discussed loopholes they can find in those. Oh yeah, Stockton Rush, you know, I think he thought he had good intentions, but no. Titanic's wreck, the real wreck, should have never been a tourist site. I don't care if it's $250,000 a ticket or if it's free. It should never, the real wreck should never have been a tourist site. If people want a tourist attraction, you've got them: Branson, Pigeon Forge, Belfast, the one Titanic Truths is working on. You know, there are already Titanic attractions to go see. Sign this. That was pretty much it. Yeah, they've already said that the sub had... They did 13 dives with that sub since 20... Well, they wanted to start... They announced the Titanic dives in 2019. And they wanted to start then, but they didn't get to. And then 2020, the pandemic hit, they got postponed. I think 2021 is when they started. And I said they've done 13 dives total. And so each dive made the sub just a little bit weaker each time. And he used a carbon fiber body on the thing that just was not adequate at all. Straight up, just not even close. And yeah, so it's... I'll grab this one now. Yeah, so they're suspecting the carbon fiber broke down with each dive. Again, I don't know how true it is, but I heard somewhere that it was recycled, that it was like used carbon fiber. It wasn't even brand new. So, yeah, I don't know how true that is, but that's one of the things they were saying, apparently. Okay, where do all these little lights go? Where is it supposed to attach over there? Oh. I messed up a little bit. Oops. So, then this goes here. And then this. Come on now. Need this piece. There we go. Yeah, like I've also said before, though, with those dives, there's, as much as I love Titanic and everything, there is no way in the world my anxiety would allow me to do that. Not even close. Yeah, my anxiety would be through the roof with something like that. Okay, got the light bricks in now. Keep the wires down. Got to put this on here. Anyways, we should make a Lusitania. Like I said, I don't do movies, so, I mean, it sounds interesting, and I'm sure a lot of people would watch it. I know I've got one guy on my Facebook that is huge movie guy. He actually writes and produces plays and stuff. And I don't know if you have the DVD of SOS Titanic, but the guy who does the commentary on that DVD, Eve, I forget how, it's a Russian name. I call him Eve. Mjolnik. I have no clue how you pronounce his name for real. Yeah, he's the one. He's huge movie buff and huge Titanic fan. All of it. Okay, come on now. These are going to be tricky the way this warps. This little model, this little set's coming together fairly nicely. This step's actually starting to straighten out that bend that was happening in the base of it. Oh yeah, much better. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a different Lego set every week, obviously. I don't think I could afford that right now, but, you know. Not all that. Make sure all that's latched down. 2 of these. There. Yeah, see, that really helps straighten that base out on that piece. Okay. So, now, careful with that wire, with that light box right there. Start doing the gold trim. So what else is everybody doing? Any other questions about the attraction or anything, or? Well, advertising is one that I'm working on, that hopefully these tickets sell well enough that that helps how much I'm estimating these tickets should make. It should hopefully be enough to get the land that I'm looking at. Oh shoot, I put that all on the wrong side. Damn. Oh well. Yeah, it should be able to get the land that I'm looking at. I actually had 2 different areas of land in mind. If one doesn't work out, I have a backup in mind. And then it should as well give me enough to do an official website and do some actual advertising marketing, which is going to start with a bunch of online marketing, making a very good promotional video and doing all of that stuff. And then that video will get posted all over the internet, and advertisements will, and then I'll pay for advertising with that video on different sites, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube here. It'll be, on the actual website. Hopefully I can get it out on TV as well. But yeah, there's do you like death? Like death like the Grim Reaper, or just tragic stuff? And honestly, it'd probably be a little bit of both. Like my father, I've always had a fascination with skulls and stuff like that. Come on now, there you go. And everything, and I've always seen the Titanic, obviously, but I've also, liked the Hindenburg. There's all kinds of Am I worried it would be haunted? No. Actually, I would welcome it. My hope would be that they would actually find peace with it, and they would be able to, and they would be able to either finally pass on, or they could coexist with the people there. That would be my hope. Like I said, I do know Branson and Pigeon Forge have had a lot of reports of hauntings. I myself have done ghost hunting. I've not gotten to go to Branson or Pigeon Forge or anything, but I did do a paranormal investigation a few years ago at a local murder site. If you Google Kent Highholt, he was the sports editor for the Columbia Tribune newspaper. And Halloween night of 2001, he was murdered as he was leaving work. And it was all over the news. It made national headlines. Dateline, 48 Hours, all of them covered it as well. They ended up arresting a kid named Ryan Ferguson and this one other kid. But Ryan managed, fought for his freedom. Took him about 17 years to do it. He finally got free, and the other kid is working on trying to get free as well. And the night we were out there and did the investigation, we got a lot of good information, actually. In fact, I believe Kent came through and actually named his killer, which is one of the suspects they had thought of, but they couldn't prove it, and they ended up letting him go. Yeah, it was a very interesting night that night. So yeah, if there's ghosts on the Titanic on my attraction, I welcome them. I will have paranormal investigators out there. That'll be another way to help promote the place, is get Ghost Adventures or something out there to do a show. They've done Branson, bring them out for this one if there's something on there. You know? That would be, like I said, that'd be a great way to do some stuff with it. I know you said Hindenburg. Will you ever do a museum? There's not really much to do with the Hindenburg. Even as big as she was, there was only 2 floors, I believe. It was not very big at all. So there's not really much to do with that. But you know, as for the ghosts on the Titanic, I know there's this one channel. I cannot for the life of me remember it. You just gotta Google Ghost Hunt Titan, or not really Ghost Hunt, but a tour of the. I think it was Pigeon Forge, actually. But there's this group that... No, it was a ghost hunt. It was a ghost hunt video. It's a nice time. But they didn't notice it, if I remember. But anyway, like I said, out on Pigeon Forge, I believe it was. And they're in this one room. I don't remember the area, but there's this room. And then off to the side, there's a replica of the gates that were locked on the Titanic and everything. And the camera turns real fast, and you notice, and if you look, you can actually see this black mass move behind the people, and it looks as if it almost walks into the wall. And when I first seen it, because the people that host the channel that do the ghost hunts, they advertise on my Titanic buy sell trade group on Facebook, because they sell tickets every few months to do this special weekend ghost. Yeah, third class. Yeah, it was a third class corridor with the gates, but I don't remember the actual position in the attraction. But they advertise on my buy sell trade group though, and yeah, they didn't see it. I pointed it out to them. They dismissed it. I sent it over to Nuke's Top 5, who used to be a real big paranormal channel on YouTube, and he featured it in one of his videos and everything. But that one was weird. And of course, Ghost Adventures, actually, I should say, has done the Branson Museum, and they've got some interesting stuff while they were there. I don't know if anybody knows Linwood Hall. It is considered abandoned mansion out in Elkin Parks, Pennsylvania. It was owned by the Widener family, who some of them passed away on the Titanic. And I have had this weird obsession with that place ever since I first discovered it a few years ago. And I've never had any place do this to me. I've never been, obsessed like this with any other place. But yeah, I forget, it's like 75,000 square feet, 110 rooms, 55 bedrooms, 20 bathrooms. It originally set on over 300 acres, and it's now down to between 30 and 33 acres, depending on where you get your information. There's the main house, and then there's what they call the grandson's mansion off to the side. But that place, if you can go here on YouTube and type in Linwood Hall, and just the stuff that comes up. That place is a place I would absolutely love to have. And if this attraction worked out and I got into a better life and everything, I would probably do everything in my power to buy it, because that is one I would also turn into like a bed and breakfast type with its own little museum dedicated to the Widener family, to the history of the house, and to Titanic as well. It's been labeled as America's largest haunted house, but I've never seen any even plausible reports of hauntings out there. But yeah, that was actually one of my very first custom Lego builds I did, was a mock-up of Linwood Hall. Like I said, I have loved, I don't know what it is about that house, but yeah. Linwood Hall, I said, I've done, I don't think I've done a video here on YouTube, but I know I've did at least one video, I think maybe two, over on the Titanic Cruise TikTok about that place. And yeah, like I said, it is an amazing house. It needs restored, and it would take a ton of money to restore it. But I think it would be well worth it. Let's see, what about Titanic? I don't know if Andrews would be on there or not. I would think he would be still, if he is, he's still trying to get people into boats to save them. But otherwise, I got a friend who, who plays Thomas Andrews' wife in reenactments and in documentaries and stuff. So, I don't know how she would feel if he was actually there or whatever. If she would like that, or if that would creep her out or what. But I said, if he is there, I said I would most likely bet he's just still trying to get people into lifeboats. That was his biggest goal, because he always regretted not having enough. He had called for, plenty of lifeboats for the entire ship. It was originally supposed to have 64, lifeboats, and they said it looked cluttered, it was too much, that, you know, the law at that time didn't require that many, because they went by tonnage of the ship, not by a passenger count. So we'll be homesick. Andrews be homesick. I don't know. Personally, myself, I've always wondered if Captain Smith would still be there. That's always been my thought. Is Smith still there? You know, would he be at the attraction? Would he... Okay, they don't have that right at all. But I've always wondered myself, are there actually ghosts at the real wreck, at the Titanic itself? You know, that's what I've always wondered. Are there spirits at the real Titanic wreck? I mean, could you imagine going down in a sub to the wreck of the Titanic? You're already in pitch black. You can't see nothing unless your lights come on. And as the sub scrolls past a porthole or something, you just happen to catch the glimpse of somebody's face. A passenger, one of the crew members, Captain Smith, maybe. You know, something random like that. Could you imagine? You think you saw something, but you're not for sure. You try to go back and look, and of course nothing's there at that point. Or what if you're actually down there and you get a very clear, good image of one of, you know, a spirit, you know, maybe not with your eyes, but on one of the cameras. I'm sorry, I got a cat messing with my feet and I can't stand that. But yeah, you know, what if when you come back to the surface and you're reviewing your dive footage, you just happen to catch a glimpse of Smith walking the bridge or something? Doubtful, because it's gone, but yeah, that would be creepy. Oh yeah, it's very doubtful, honestly. I would fully give you that. Yes, it is very doubtful. But yeah, it would, you know, it'd be creepy. I know Cameron has mentioned, you know, dude, I don't know if he's actually seen anything, but the way he talks, the way he talks about these things, I think Cameron's might have seen something down there before him, honestly, because he's made comments about, you know, crew walking the decks and little things like that, different, just off the cuff things that you would normally, if you're not thinking about it, you would pass it off, wouldn't even pay any attention. But yeah, so maybe James Cameron has seen some, maybe he's got unreleased dive footage from the wreck that shows spirits down there. Who knows? Starting to do the water of the Titanic puzzle piece thing here. Now we just fill it in with the rest of these. No, I know the attractions bring a lot of energy, which is... I know J.J. Astor has been at least one of the actually identified spirits that have been found, or been seen, I should say. Why is this not working again? He's been seen at both Pigeon Forge and Branson, I believe, which is they can travel. Astor's final moments is one that really always got me when it came to Titanic and her story, because he helped, him and Archibald Gracie helped load Madeline into lifeboat number 4 from the forward promenade deck and everything. Then he went up to the boat deck to watch her you know, get off safely and everything. But before all of that, before the lifeboats, while the ship was still sinking, he also was, from what I hear at least, part of a group of people who went and released all the dogs out of the kennels so they could have a fighting chance. But I do know that after, it's at least thought that after him and Gracie got Madeline onto the lifeboat and the lifeboat took off and everything, that, you know, he went up to the boat deck, and when that forward funnel collapsed, he got crushed. Because they found his body, but the only way they could identify him was with what was in his pockets. It had his name on it, because his body was crushed and covered in soot. Could you imagine you're down at the Bismarck? Yeah, that one would definitely be a weird one too, down at Bismarck. See an old Nazi down there. Something. Who knows how many shipwrecks actually have spirits on them, though, you know. What about the Arizona in Pearl Harbor? Or all the other ships from Pearl Harbor that were attacked. There's just... who knows what really goes on at those wreck sites when we're not there. When there's not a sub down there actively exploring things. I mean, there could be all kinds of stuff Like the movie Ghost Ship. You know, there could be all sorts of stuff going on. Yeah, the HMS Hood. The Hood, man. But you've also got, like, the Thresher and the Scorpion. The nuclear subs that Ballard was tasked with finding before he could go supposedly look for the Titanic by the U.S. government. You know, hell, the Titan incident right now, them men down there, are they going to be, is there energies and stuff, is that going to be tied with the debris that they were able to salvage, or is all of that going to still be down there at the bottom? Are they going to be in the abyss? Come on now, get down in there. There you go. Of course, this one's bent too. And well, doesn't want to set evenly now. Let me see this. There's the base with a bit of water and looks like maybe a few chunks of ice floating around. I'm getting there. Almost done. Now we're going to build the actual ship. This is where we're at now. So, get repositioned again. Reorganize my parts so I can see what I've got. And there we go. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. I think I know what it is. The little Lego set that I'm making. Yeah, it is, I tossed the box down in the floor already, but, well, find the cover here. Here we go. It is a little box that you spin, you turn the handle here, and the Titanic actually sails this way, and then the iceberg moves this way, and they actually come together and collide a little bit. And that's what I'm building. And I'm almost done. Or was you talking about something else, maybe? Saying you knew what it was? The Lego set. Was it what you thought it was? Did you have it right? I said this is another off-brand because, yeah, they don't make this set with real Lego. It's not available. So, this is another Amazon find. I said it's only available in off-brand, unfortunately. I'm sure Lego could probably end up making a better version that didn't have all these bends and warps in it, but yeah. Oh, I always ignore them. I always ignore them spammers. They never... My philosophy is the verses of Matthew 6, chapter 6, verses 5 and 6. And probably if we start getting more viewers into the stream every week, and I need more control, but right now it's fairly manageable. You know, it's not that hard. But, you know, if I get a lot more viewers, I'll definitely need a mod to help regulate the comments and stuff. But, you know, as I was saying, though, yeah, my philosophy has always been Matthew chapter 6, verse 5 and 6. Be not as the hypocrites, for they pray in the churches and the synagogues so that they may be seen. But to enter into your closet, pray to the Lord in private. So, yeah, that's just me, though. And how did that bend like that? The little Titanic is coming together. You know, I have a second ship in a bottle set from the one that I've customized myself. I wonder if this whole set would fit inside of there, if I could merge the two somehow. Where you could have a moving Titanic in a bottle. Kinda. It's one of the disciples' name. I don't know exactly what you mean by that one. I myself, I was raised Southern Baptist, but I'm more agnostic now. An agnostic is like, I believe in God, I believe in a higher power, good, evil, unseen forces, all of that, but just not necessarily a biblical sense of it. Yeah. Yeah, I said I've gotten in all kinds of debates and stuff over the years with people on biblical stuff. I got in a debate one time with a preacher. It was a female preacher. I don't even remember exactly what it was we were talking about, but she brought up something in Leviticus. And so I brought up Timothy, where it says that I suffer not a woman to teach or to assert authority over man, but to be in silence. And she did not like that. So I said, I've always believed women can do anything they want to do. They're fully capable of anything and everything. But if they want to be, I do not believe a woman should be a preacher. if you're going to teach the Word of God, then you need to abide by the Word of God. And it clearly states that a woman can't do that. There we go. And there is the little Titanic. We'll set that off to the side now, because now we're going to build the iceberg. Oh, that cannot be everything for the iceberg. Oh no, I was gonna say that piece there. Okay. And now it says, where did I put the stickers? Just had them. Oh, they're right there. Okay, now, so we install this. Install these onto the set. Like so. Okay. There we go. So, there it is. That is the set that I built today. Right here. And as I said, if you turn the handle, they move and they collide and everything. So that is the set for today. I said I don't think I'll have a Lego set next week. I'm not going to be able to afford one every week. At least, you know, that'd be nice. I would love to be able to do that. And maybe in the future, if the attraction takes off and I get into a better place financially, I can. You know, maybe I've got the big Lego Titanic set here to do. You know, and maybe in the future I could get more of them and make and modify them into a Britannic or an Olympic or something. Or I've seen people modify them to have motors so the propellers turn on their own and everything. Yeah, so. But HM might not be great for ghosts since it's a mess. Well, Lusitania is a mess too. Ghosts really don't care about condition of where it's at. It's more of energy. Like if you go to New Orleans to Bourbon Street, I forget exactly which restaurant, hotel area thing it is down there on Bourbon Street, but one of them has that metal balcony that wraps around that's so iconic for the street. But it used to be lowered down and everything, and the building burned years ago, decades ago now, and probably well over 100 years. It's been a long time. And they rebuilt it, and when they rebuilt it, they raised the balcony up about 2 feet or so, and they've got reports of spirits walking on the balcony, but the balcony is at their knee height. They're at their knees because they're walking on the original balcony down below. And that's one thing I've always said is, you know, people always talk about spirits walking through walls and everything. And it's not that they're walking through walls. It's in their time, there was a door there that was open. It was an open wall, there was a door, something. To them, it's just an open pathway. They're just reliving what they had in their life. They don't see the world the way we do today. But that's the Lego set for today. So it's been a good little live tonight. Got a lot of different things to talk about. So I'm going to go ahead and be getting off of here. And I will go do a demonstration video on this that'll go up on TikTok here later. So, and I'll probably put it here on YouTube. I'm not for sure. Can't guarantee that one. But, so, for anybody that watches after the live has already ended, be sure to follow so you know when to join next time. And we can discuss Titanic. But, until then, that's, pretty much it. That's all of it. So I will see you next Tuesday, where I go live here every Tuesday. Goodbye.